That's my favourite kit. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, it's Rog, live from the Londoner in the magical city of Addison, Texas. Oh, I came here to eat all your El Elate while waiting impatiently in line for some smoking ash. And I'm also here to revel in this city, this state of mind, really, as Conrad Hilton, who launched his hotel empire in Texas. He also invented elevator music, I think, in the Dallas area, once said, there's a vastness here, and I believe that the people who are born here breathe that vastness into their soul. They dream big dreams, think big thoughts, because there's nothing to hem them in. And I love that. It's why we're here tonight. We need a dose of that in life, and we need a dose of that for US football. Because this is a moment in time when people who love the game in our nation need to dream big dreams. And I'm so inspired by all of you Dallasites. If you can build an airport that's larger than the island of Manhattan, everything in the world is possible, including the dream I have of Diego Luna lifting the World Cup. I love that so much, I can't even tell you. If you dream it, it will come. Oh, it will be no dream. And to break these dreams down and to talk through the big Sunday night Gold Cup rumble against 83rd in the world, Haiti. Les Grenadiers in AT&T Stadium. Capacity, good God, 80,000. We photoshopped all those fans in. It gives me incredible joy to bring to this stage a truly remarkable human being who, through sheer grit, unrelenting ambition, rose from the dusty rec leagues in this state to the top of world football. 142 caps, record number of goals as a male in this nation. Please be upstanding for a gent who's become the trusted voice of US football fans as we charge towards that World Cup promised land. It's a joy to welcome to a Texas stage for a live taping of his show, The Deuce. It's the pride of Nacogdoches. Let's hear it for Mr. Clint Dempsey! What's up, brother?
Group shot? Can you do the photo?
No, 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, there's an incredible piece, I've got to say, Clint, with you here in Dallas, a place you know so well. One of the more incredible stories I know about you is that from the age of 10, you and your mum and dad, who I met last Wednesday in Austin, used to drive 6 hours round trip. Look at this haircut.
Hey. Chili Bowl.
Oh, God. You used to drive to play for the Texas Longhorn Soccer Club and then mighty Dallas Texans. I mean, the Texas Classic League, it doesn't get much bigger, Clint.
No, I mean, for us growing up, that was a chance to play at the highest level possible. And if you wanted to try to go to college, you needed to be on a good club team to play in college showcases. And, Dallas Longhorns and Dallas Texans were great clubs. And playing in the Classic League was where it was at, where you had to earn your way to get into it, playing through tournaments. And if you didn't do well, you'd get relegated. And then shout out to my man over here, Gordon, with the Dallas Cup.
The great Gordon Jargo. There's a legend sitting right with us.
I mean, growing up, watching international play, that was the closest thing as a kid you could get to playing in a World Cup or some type of club World Cup. So I always appreciated that tournament, so thank you for that.
Dallas Cup.
Yes, sir.
The Dallas Cup. All right. We talked about, this is very you to reflect the joy and the wonder and the respect elsewhere, but I want to bring it back because what your parents did for you, that 6-hour round-trip drive to fulfill your dreams, age 10. There's an incredible piece, I read it this morning in the Dallas Morning News, old piece. It said the following. I'm going to read it because it's beautiful. It said the Dempsey parents drove Clint 2 or 3 times a week through Kilgore, past the barbecue restaurants and the Lone Star Speedway. The exit for towns such as Big Sandy and Gilmer, the RV dealers, Canton's First Mondays, to the sprawling subdivisions and frantic interstates of North Dallas. And then it said, Clint used to gaze out of the car window and daydream. And I want to know, what did you dream of, Clint?
Oh, man, just different things at different times. I mean, driving up, you're mostly thinking about the game and playing well, and just trying to make sure that you're not getting too nervous before that. And then on the way back, if things were going good, getting lottery tickets with my dad, and and we would daydream about, hey, we'll get this boat, we get this much land, and do this and do that, and it's just kind of like the conversations that we had, even though that they were helping me chase my dream. It was like that was some of the best moments as a kid, being in the car with my parents and really kind of talking about life and getting to know each other, because all you had was time. The 3 hours one way and 3 hours back, and then the days that you didn't talk, you listened to the music, you knew every damn song on the radio because they just played over and over. But yeah, those are great memories, and it made me appreciate at a young age, like anything less than my best would be a slap in their face. So I really appreciate my parents, just the sacrifices that they made for me, and also my family, my brothers and sisters.
Clint's mum and dad, Debbie and Aubrey, were at the Austin show, and every time he talked about them, your mum just tried to not start sobbing, and it was really powerful and really beautiful, and you felt that sacrifice, you felt that joy. There's a great detail in the piece. Your dad told the writer that he and your mum, quote, gave plenty of thought to scaling back on the soccer, but eventually he sold his boat and his hunting guns to support you. In Texas, I read that. I was like, oh my God, that is the greatest sacrifice.
Yeah. I mean, someone's selling their guns and their boat. Times are getting tough. Yeah, for sure.
By the way, talking about hunting, we were just chatting about it. Clint told me alligator hunting, deer hunting, but you told me hog hunting's where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of an adrenaline rush, you go out there and hunt with dogs for hogs. It's pretty fun. But in terms of getting that feeling that I felt when I still played soccer, that's why I like bow hunting. I like whitetail deer hunting. And for me, it's that feeling of shooting a penalty. Your heart is in your throat. And I don't get to play anymore, so that's kind of like that chance of feeling alive again. So, and you know where your food comes from. And that was another part of hunting that I enjoy. So that's kind of why I'm into it.
When Clint told me this, I was like, we all don't love the penalty shootout. It feels a bit artificial. If a game is tied after extra time, go right to hog hunting. That's how they do it in Texas. Gordon, isn't that how they do it in the Dallas Cup? You're like, kids, bow time. By the way, I do want to say to Gordon, it is a joy to be. I've just met Gordon. We always think in this nation, we always say football has no roots, has no history, has no legacy, and then you meet a great like Gordon. Wayne Rooney comes on this show, talked about the Dallas Cup for himself as a player, and then as a parent, his kid played in the Dallas Cup. Talked about it with awe and reverence. There is a rich and wonderful history of a team that flows through this nation and flows through this state. It's an honour to meet you tonight. You are a giant of the game, and it's wonderful to be with people like you who've lifted us to this place and this moment. And we're about to dive into the football and break down tomorrow's epic rumble. Again, playing Haiti, Le Rouge et Bleu. But before we do, I do want to recognise that this show, number one, is presented by our incredible friends at Camarena. They've made it possible for us to get out here tonight, and I am so grateful to them. They love football. They're a huge supporter of everything that we do at Men in Blazers. They are the most awarded tequila. One day, Clint and I will run through the agave fields. By the way.
It's gonna take a lot to do that, bro.
We'll start off going fishing in Nacogdoches.
There we go. I can do that.
But ultimately, there are human beings who've allowed us to be here, and I want to raise my Camarena to all of you present, to all of you watching live at home. World Cup is 355 days away as we sit here. And I just want to say, can we savor every chance to be together, to make memories? This room, this energy, this joy, this passion, this hope, it's what's inspiring. And I want to make a memory of this moment. I want to share it with all of you here. I'm going to ask Clint to stand with me, raise his camerina. Have you all stand up here? Ask our intrepid photographer, Neem, to come on up. Dallas, be upstanding and raise your glasses. Here we go. Beers up. Close this gap a bit if you can. Here we go. Beers up, guys. Name. There you go. America! Amazing. Oh, God. You were... Cheer it for Neve. Okay, it's time to get serious. We're here in the heart of Dirk Nowitzki's magical kingdom. I want to start off by saying you are one of the most magical cities, footballingly, in this nation. I once made a film down here in the days of Oscar Pereira. He was a manager of Dallas. He's an amazing man. He had a philosophy. It was written all over the training ground. Busca la forma. Find the way. Find the way. It's etched on the wall inside the club's facility. And it's true, a stream of so much talent on the men's side has poured out of your city, starting with the great Jeff Goose. Oh, look at that man. Look at that haircut. Few men have bounced back from more own goals than Jeff Goose and kept on going. I mean, there's so many cult heroes. Jose Torres, one of my favourite footballers ever to pull on a jersey. Daniel Hernandez, current US internationals. Weston McKennie. Look at him. Here, in that photo, he was so young, he just discovered ranch dressing. Our nation's most potent goal scorer, Chris Richards. Roll Tide, Crystal Palace. And, of course, my favourite, Ricardo Pepe. All aboard, Elche. And I asked Oscar Pereira how he did it. I was chatting to Clint about this before we came on, and he said it could only happen here. It could only happen on the fault line between Mexico and the United States. He saw it that the kids he was training en masse managed to fuse together the technical ability and the passion for the game that came from the Mexican side with that American competitive mindset, which he just loved, that desire to come first. I mean, Clint, you've lived it. How do you understand this rich seam of the nation and why it has produced so many unbelievable footballers?
I mean, the thing about Texas, when you come from here, you have a sense of pride that you're just really proud of where you come from, and you want to go out and let everybody know where you're from. I remember going to college, like the things that my mom's giving me to go is like a Texas pillow, Texas trash can, Texas flag lamp, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's part of the Latin culture that's here, mixed with the American never say die, winning mentality. And I think it also comes from that pride of representing where you're from. And in terms of the states that I've been to, the pride that we have for our state is like no other.
You also said if you play Mexican League football, you can do anything.
Yeah, no, for sure, because it's like, it's almost like you're reffing yourself, right? When you're playing pickup, you don't have a ref out there, and people know when you're playing Sunday League, it's going to get a little crazy sometimes. But it's where you kind of become a man. You get elbowed in the face, you get knocked down, you get back up, and anything you want, you got to fight for. So I just think there's something you can gain from everything. Like whether it's club ball, whether it's pickup, whether it's Mexican League, whether it's high school, whatever you're playing, you can get something for that. But I would definitely say playing Sunday League definitely helped me grow up as a freshman in high school. That hey, you better come with it, or you're gonna get knocked down. So.
Yeah. Clint, tell me, once you've survived Mexican League, where you learn to get elbowed in the face, everything after that is just a piece of piss. So thank you, Texas. Thank you. I also want to know Dallas has been host to some of the most remarkable historic games on American turf on the male side. Cotton Bowl, hosted 6 games in the 1994 World Cup, the quarter-final, the 3-2 thriller between the Netherlands and Brazil, which introduced us to Bebeto's baby celebration. I don't think it's possible for a Premier League player to actually be part of a pregnancy without unfurling that. This was the first. But do you remember these days, 94, Cotton Bowl, Clint, because you were there?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid growing up, I used to watch VHS tapes of the 1986 World Cup or 1990 World Cup, but especially the 86 when there was a hero tape, and watching Diego Maradona play and just the pride that people had for their countries. And then 94, it being in my own home country, my own home state, you can look, you can see it, you can feel the crowd and say, hey, maybe there's a possibility I can get to that level. I think that's what's so important about having big competitions right in front of you, because as a kid, it kind of can help you start to believe. But I remember seeing Jurgen Klinsmann score 2 goals against South Korea. It's crazy that I ended up playing for him under the national team. And I wanted to see Diego Maradona play with Argentina versus Bulgaria, but got in trouble, so I was like heartbroken. I didn't get a chance to see my idol play. But the most important thing is what I said, is being able to see what you want to do in life, and once you can see something, it really helps you to believe. So I think that's what's great about the World Cup coming here in 2026, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to come of these young kids watching it, both boys and girls watching this and getting dreams to play for their country.
I'm looking at the kids in this bar. Clint, was you.
Yeah.
Clint, was you. You, please God, will go and watch in Dallas in these games. There's going to be 9 games at AT&T Stadium, including a semi-final. May you go and watch and dream, and then make your dreams real like Clint did. I mean, you made your dreams super real. You saw Jurgen Klinsmann score goals, and then he became your manager, which is like a reminder, life is crazy.
Yeah, no, it truly is crazy. I mean, when I think about when I was in college, I was lucky enough my freshman year to go over with my Furman University and watch some games. And one of the games that we watched was Fulham versus Liverpool at Craven Cottage, and we were standing in the terrace watching that game. And full circle, I'm playing for Fulham, and the first goal that I scored in the Premier League was against Liverpool that kept us up at the Cottage. So it's just crazy how things in life work out like that. I just feel like destiny is real, and those type of things happen for a reason.
It's beautiful, and the only thing that's shocking is that Diego Maradona did not become the US men's national team manager. I'm going to shut the hell up on that one. Because we are going to talk about this US team, because in the same stadium that 9 World Cup games are going to take place, AT&T, tomorrow night, we play Haiti. Let me take you back to Thursday night. Our US boys did just enough to overcome a fairly defensive, physical Saudi Arabian squad. They've been in the World Cup. They've been in the Gold Cup for, 5 minutes, and they've already become totally CONCACAF. I'm not going to lie, the game itself was a pretty tough watch. It really was. We had 72% possession in the first half. We had 0 shots on goal. We are 2 games into this World Cup campaign. I'm not going to lie, the results have been wins. We are top of the group. That's the great reality. The quality of the football has been very flat. It's been honestly almost one-dimensional when you think about it. You've been in the locker room though. You've been in Gold Cups. You understand the reality. How would you think about this? That the quality not been great. The results couldn't be better. Like cup half full, cup half empty, Gold Cup half whatever. Where are you?
I mean, I'm always cup half full with the U.S. team. I'm a fan of the team. I want to see them doing well. And even when times are the darkest, you still look through those rose-colored glasses. That's just my nature when it comes to the game, because I know how quickly things can change. We haven't played the best ball possible. I mean, Trinidad, we did what we needed to do. We beat the team that was in front of us. But in terms of the Saudi Arabia game, from attacking standpoint, it probably wasn't the easiest on the eyes, but there was some bright spots. Clean sheet from our defense once again, and from the freezing goal, getting another clean sheet. And most importantly, yeah.
This is how nicknames happen, baby.
There we go. And Chris Richards was the guy that stood out the most in that last game. But you look to this next game versus Haiti, I think it's going to be an exciting game because they're a team that doesn't sit back, and they're going to go for it, and it's going to make a better game for everybody to watch. I think there's going to be more attacking football, more goals, and a chance for some of these guys, whoever they rest or don't rest, I think it's still important that you keep a winning mentality in the team. You don't lose that and just say, hey, we're just going to make 11 changes and we don't care about the result. I think you still got to be result-oriented, keep on this wave of positivity in terms of results, and I think the more people that can come in and make a difference that haven't been playing, I think it kind of gets everybody to buy in, and you kind of start seeing this team build and kind of come together. So definitely glass half full. I think this game's going to be exciting in Dallas. I think being indoors is going to make it be at a higher pace level because you're not going to deal with that heat. And I'm excited what they do in the knockout rounds after this.
So the knockout rounds really are the moment of truth. But, you know, Mauricio Pochettino, after the Saudi Arabia game, he talked about how the results are good, but what he's really pleased with is how that squad is coming together. He said he can smell the unity. I'll be honest, here's what I don't understand and what I'm excited to talk to you about tonight. Is that the 2 games so far, really the 4 games, if you look at the body of work of the friendlies as well, you know, the performances have been so plodding. They really have been. And we've got this group of human beings who are laughing about it before. A lot of these guys, we went back to them last year and said, could you believe a year out from the World Cup, you'd be handed a Willy Wonka golden ticket to audition to play a World Cup on home turf? Most of these players would never have believed it. They're living it in the here and now. Poch has been clear. I want players who will fight and struggle and show me. He's essentially saying, show me. But we watch these performances, and the honest truth, the win against Saudi Arabia was flatter than the Texas Panhandle. And these are human beings who know one great moment and they could be in a World Cup. Like, it takes one big moment. You lived that 2005 when you got a chance to show yourself. You told me you were just trying to destroy everyone in training. You were just going, put the ball at your feet. You were trying to destroy every single opponent. Our football, it's incredibly deferential. Like, it's almost drowsy. Why are they not taking the game by the scruff of the neck? Is it lack of skill or is it mentality, Clint?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think when teams sit back, we struggle to kind of break them down, but at the same time, you need to have a certain type of mentality when you do have moments in the game that you can drive forward with the ball. And I just remember when I was coming up and I was kind of a new face in the team, it was if I got a chance to drive with the ball, you better believe I'm driving with it, trying to make something happen. I'm cutting inside, try to do give and goes, beat someone off the dribble, either trying to cross or get shots off. And I just think people need to go out there and not have that fear. And I think sometimes if you're a young player that's out there, you can't let the risk of making a mistake keep you from going out there and expressing yourself. So I would like to see them do more of that. I think this next game against Haiti is going to allow for people to express themselves more and hopefully create more competition for spots in this team. But dang, if they haven't been bitten by the injury bug, it's been crazy.
I mean, the injury bug we'll get to, but it does feel like they almost have en masse imposter syndrome, this team. It's like, you didn't. You were just like, sod it. This is my chance. Your phrase, all gas, no brakes.
Yeah, I mean, I know what it's like to not make teams. I know what it's like to look up on the list and see your name and you're not up there. So my thing was like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to fail on my own terms and I'm going to play the style that I love. And if I'm going out there and getting shots off and creating chances and dangerous and doing good on both sides of the ball, I just feel like I can't be denied. And if I score, even if you aren't an educated fan, you're going to read and say, oh, he did well. So then when I started realizing that, every day I could get a goal I tried or get an assist because you know that you couldn't be denied. So that was my mentality.
I love that. He would have been on the field being like, Diego Luna, just smack the ball in off me, baby. I mean, let's talk about the goal scorers because you've hit the real issue, the injuries in this moment. I mean, gotta say, I think even spinal tap drummers are looking at our number 9 position and be like, oh my God, those guys are doomed. It's like Stumpy's replacement, Peter James Bond. Today news broke, and this is dark as heck, Haji Wright. I mean, a guy that, my God, this guy deserves his moment. This was his moment. This was his bandwidth. There was chance for him to really be in the spotlight, out with an Achilles injury for the rest of the tournament. Our 20-year-old German-American Dabian Downs, Double D. it turns out, in hospital post-Saudi game for a contusion. He's day-to-day. And I know you like Patrick Adjiman.
Yeah.
I think he's a big gent. He's a great story. He's humanly inspiring. He's still so raw.
Yeah.
He's crying out for competition, though, Clint. We are so thin. But we were chatting about it, that gap between competition and also the freedom and liberation of knowing that you're starting. Can you talk about that? Because it's him or nobody right now.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, let's light a candle for him that he stays healthy, because we're going to need, someone out there that can score goals, and he's someone that's shown that he can. He's got off to a great start. I mean, only person that's been close to him in terms of the goals in the first amount of games like him is Eddie Johnson. He is raw, but he is dangerous, and he creates problems. I think he's going to have a little bit of that peace of mind knowing that he's going to have a little bit more leeway with the injuries, and not as many people can kind of come in and replace him. So maybe it allows him to express himself more, take a few more risks. There was a moment in the Saudi Arabia game that stuck out to me is when he beat 2 or 3 players and it looked like he was going to get away to create something, and he didn't. I hope we get to see more of those type of moments where he's creating opportunities for himself. But I think there's something that comes with that peace of mind of knowing that you're not looking over your shoulder every minute in the second half that your name's going to be brought up. So it's a big opportunity for them against Haiti to go out there and do their thing. And I'm looking for these guys that have shown Pochettino that, hey, I'm your guy, like Adjiman, Diego Luna, so far in this tournament, Tillman, so far in this tournament, Chris Richards. I'm looking for those guys to continue this wave that they're on and try to help us win this.
By the way, pray for Patrick Adjiman. I love that candle for Patrick Adjiman. But that Malik Tillman has talked about what you've hit, which is like knowing you're going to start is incredibly empowering. And I hope that we do see those couple of characters, Luna, Tillman, Richards, and God bless. But I'm going to start marketing Patrick Adjiman candles, actually. That they feel that freedom, they feel that liberation, and they feel that sense of empowerment. But I'm not fazed, because if you want to talk about big goal scorers, can we just say Chris Richards is a great American? Jen spent 2 years in the Dallas Academy, and against Saudi Arabia, he was a man against boys. He was it's like watching an Alabama Dikembe Mutombo. But I will say that a pair of his blocks were like the talking point of the game. It kind of tells you what we need to know about the quality. But the other, of course, was his goal. Standalone quality, Sebastian Berhalter, that fine ball. But that was the finish of a confident striker, you told me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's a ball that's whipped across. It's good to see the U.S. That's another positive, being dangerous again on set pieces. That's kind of been our bread and butter when you look back at our history. But yeah, anytime you whip a ball where the defenders are facing their own goal in that space and it's bouncing, it's difficult for them to clear it because there's the fear of giving up a corner, but more importantly, an own goal. And for him to be able to judge the bounce and get a good strike on it shows that he's someone that has that composure in front of goal, and we need more of that. So he was doing it on both ends, right? So it was great to see.
I mean, it was an incredible finish from a truly beautiful human being. I've spent a bunch of time with Chris. He's a lovely, lovely, lovely bloke. And to see his confidence surge for club now and country it's very, very rewarding, to be honest. He's had to grind his way out of Alabama, went to Bayern, struggled, arrived in the Premier League, injuries, struggled again, and has announced himself and has won. I mean, he's a winner. I've spoken to a couple of players who've talked about he's almost too nice. He's almost too lovely. He's almost too kind, too generous. That mentality. This was a guy, and I'm interested to hear you talk about this. He was a guy who was the best player in every locker room he was in Alabama, just by definition. And it's almost like he never had to develop a killer mentality to be that best player in Alabama. He was always that big fish. Is that something you've encountered in your career with Americans who come from, states where football was not the number 1, number 2, number 27 sport? That American mentality, not everyone had the fierceness to compete, that ferociousness, that tenacity that you need to compete in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for him. I mean, I always felt like I was against all odds, coming from Nacogdoches, not making certain teams when I try out for regional camp, representing North Texas when I go down there, not making regional teams and stuff like that. Wasn't part of the Bradenton Academy. Was late making the U20 national team. I was the last person that was picked on that team, and through that, it allowed me to go Project 40, which I was able to play for the Revolution, and I was one of the last guys picked to be on the 2006 World Cup squad. Through that January camp, it allowed me to break into that team. So I don't know what it's like to be the big fish. I always felt a chip on my shoulder that I had to prove people what's up, but at the same time, I always wanted to test myself against the best in the world. And I think he's getting that in England. I mean, he went to Bayern and things didn't go how he wanted there. So that's something that's only going to make you a better person if you're able to learn from experiences. You don't take them as a loss, you take them as a lesson learned. And then what he's done with Crystal Palace, like winning an FA Cup, being a strong player for them. And I think he's developing into the type of captain or leader that he wants to be for this national team because he's getting his swag, right? Like, he's doing it on both ends. He's, playing, doing a great job being one of the leaders that we need, right? He's one of the players that we have abroad that's kind of in this team flying the flag for us. So, I'm looking forward to seeing him continue to grow. I think he's only going to get confidence, like we talk about some of these other players like Tillman. And I think the key is being able to do it both for club and country when you get called upon. And he looks like he's going to be one of those guys for us.
Amen. By the way, Chris. By the way, I know Chris and absolutely adore him as a human being. And I think he's got a massive opportunity in this moment to become one of the true faces of the team. Watching him, it's incredibly edifying. I would just say this, give that man all of the commercial deals. He really deserves them. The only weakness of Chris's game is that he can't play goalkeeper. And that's called a segue in the trade. Because we do need to touch on the goalkeeper thing. Our number one du jour is NYCFC's Harvard grad, the Freeze, Mr. Matt Freeze. There you go. Look at that. How many other nations have Harvard grads? I don't know.
Oh, man.
2 clean sheets. But Clint, here's the amazing thing. 1 save total in those 2 games. I don't know how to feel about this because it's quite a surreal reality. You ran into him in Austin.
Yeah, it was good catching him in the elevator as it was going down. I think he was one of the last guys to get on the bus, so maybe I made him be late. But it was good chopping it up with him, right? Like telling him congrats on how he's playing, getting the 2 clean sheets. Yeah, stay confident. I also got the opportunity to talk to Matt Turner, who I'm rooting for, and I respect the fact that he's gone to Europe and trying to make it and still trying to figure out the right home for himself. And I think he understands that, like, it just takes one game, it just takes 1 good year and you're back on track and doing what you need to do. But right now the situation is looking like it's Freeze's spot to lose, and all you can do is try to make that spot more competitive through what you do in training to make each other better. It'd be interesting to see what happens tomorrow, how many changes Pochettino ends up making, because I think you got to be careful. You don't want to make too many changes and lose that winning mentality, that winning form that you're on, especially after having the 4 losses in a row. So it's good to see the team doing well after such a period of time of conceding too many goals.
By the way, I love Matt Turner. I thought about Matt Freeze's one weakness is he didn't have a nickname. But Matt Turner to me is like tenacity personified. That guy also, like yourself, was told no, rejected, dejected every stage and kept grinding his way. And I only wish great things for that human being. Well, I've got to say, Brad Guzan has got to be watching and thinking, oh, if he only started smoking. If he only started cigarette smoking, he could be an American Wojciech Szczesny and make this unexpected return from exile. But Haiti lie ahead. Les Grenadiers, the team with the most French nicknames I've ever come across. For anyone the nickname is the Soldiers. They have been ferocious. If you've watched them, this is the joy of CONCACAF for me. This area, this region, the football is rising everywhere. And I watch this Haiti team defending not a forte, but like attacking with joy and just all in. And it's like watching a group of like people in Haiti who've only been watching Clint Dempsey videos their whole life on VHS. Like they are gunslingers. They just go for it. I think they play better than their results have shown, to be candid. Yep. They are risk takers, scattering of players in the lower European leagues, handful of MLS, USL2. We are through to the knockout rounds. Yep. They can still get in. This is what's interesting. The mentality of this. They're going to come out and slug.
Yeah.
If you're Pochettino, you're going to make some changes, but like, how do you make sure you've lived these games? We don't have much to play for as a team. We do individually, but how do you make sure that our mentality from the off is there? Because theirs is going to be.
I think you don't make too many changes. I think you're strategic on that because you don't want people to think that, hey, this is the game that y'all can take off. And I think it's a game you need to be careful of the counter because they show that they have pace and they can get forward and cause problems. But like I said earlier, I think it's going to be an exciting game for the fans to watch because it's going to be end to end, and that's kind of what you want to see. And it's going to allow us to be more creative in the attacking third, and hopefully it kind of gets that confidence for those attacking players, seeing more goals. I mean, if I have a score prediction, I think it's going to be something like 3-1. Which would be exciting for everybody to watch. For us, for sure. I'm never going to have a prediction of the U.S. losing. That'll be even better. Clean sheet.
To us or them? To us or them? Are you Haitian?
Yeah.
There you are. Just checking. You're always double checking. I don't know. Sometimes I try and speak out my worst fears into the world just to get them out so they never happen. There's a gentleman on the back holding up a shirt that says Team Dempsey.
Yes, sir.
And I just love this in every regard. This room, we need more of this room. I want to touch upon Pochettino because we talked on Thursday night. When we scored, Chris Richards, we didn't score. Chris Richards scored. When he scored, we scored. The cameras cut to Pochettino, and there was no release, there was no joy, there was no even an angry fist pump. It was this. Oh my God! It was genuinely. A general has just been told about awful things. This is a man who is clearly suffering. There's a displeasure, and ultimately, if you're Poch, you've got a problem. You did not like the attitude of the big name players who we love and revere. We saw the Nations League. So you were brought in, auditioning, fresh, young, raw energy, and you're praying some of them, lots of them, you hope, are going to step up in this moment. I mean, that's what that face was to me. He'd watched the first whatever minutes of this game. He wants to find his dogs who he can count on. Yep. His guys, we talked about that. He wants to change the culture. Probably wants to replace some of the big names who he thinks are complacent, to be honest. But if they don't, and that's just an if right now, we could go deep in this Gold Cup and feel great at the end. This is where we are right now. We can have the greatest summer and charge into 2026 where we want to be. I'm talking about the if. If he doesn't, he's going to have to go back to the Joe Scallies, the Josh Sargents, the Eunice Mousas, who's either disappointed him or not turned up. And he's going to have them come back. I mean, that was what this face was in this moment to me, Clint. How do you think about that moment?
Well, first of all, I look at that face as someone who has a higher standard and it's good to have high standards because you can't just be happy with doing good enough. You want to try to do something great. When you talk about trying to see the new faces, obviously the former manager got fired for a reason. What were the reasons besides the manager? What were some of the players that weren't getting the job done? Then the next thing is giving the new faces a chance to try to come in and try to change the culture. And if some of the new players are not able to do it, then you have multiple, decisions you got to make, right? Are you going to go then and double down and try to get even more new faces that may be that you didn't get called in for this time? Or do you bring other players back that kind of give them a second chance and see what they're going to do? Maybe it woke them up to not have their names being part of this roster. So I think it's a lot of stuff goes into what it takes to be a good manager for international football because you don't have a lot of time that you can work with these players week in and week out. You're only getting them for a few week periods at a time during a tournament, and then outside of that, you're only getting a few training sessions before you have to play a game for friendlies and international fixtures. So I think he's just still trying to figure stuff out. But like you said, Willy Wonka ticket here, golden ticket to try to do something great, play in the World Cup. And if you can't get excited about that, well, damn, you shouldn't be in the team.
Clint, I always say, Clint, have you ever thought about coaching? Clint's like, I'm not interested in coaching. And then he says things like that, and I just want to shove him into the locker room right before kickoff. No, just genuinely, F tactics, Willy Wonka golden ticket, get it, boy. But anyway, I want to get to your guys' questions in this room, but you said a great thing to me about the Gold Cup yesterday. You talked about how you want this thing to become bigger, better, sharper.
Yeah.
The competition, like right now, let's be honest, it's a commercially driven enterprise. It's always in the US. We move it around. It is what it is. But you said, like, if we're going to get better, this tournament has to go to Mexico.
Yes.
It has to go to Canada. You think it would be a great value to train our boys to play away, increase interest? That's the only way to make this more prestigious.
Sure. I mean, if you look at the situation, every Gold Cup's in the States, right? And what does that allow every team in CONCACAF to do? Get comfortable playing in the States. And when you're in World Cup qualifying games, what are your must-win games? Home games for sure, right? So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, in my opinion. Why don't we figure out a way that we can get better away from home? Going and playing in Canada, going and playing in Mexico, or going and playing in Copa Americas that are in South America. So for me, that's what I would like to see. I think that would make a big difference. I think it would only help the players, but also figuring out a way to mix up these tournaments, right? When I was growing up, it was like you could have a Gold Cup. If you did well in a certain Gold Cup, you can play in a Confederations Cup. Figure out a way to have a Copa America and figure out a way for a World Cup. So you have a tournament each summer that's completely different, and then that in itself makes everyone more prestigious. So those are some of the things that I would think, but I'm not the person to make the changes or make the rules. But if y'all listen out there, that's a good idea, right?
When I lived with the US team and filmed you guys ahead of the 2014 World Cup, Jurgen Klinsmann used to always say all the time, he used to be like, Australia, there he is, God bless. Looks like a cardboard cutout of me and Jurgen Klinsmann. That's amazing. But Jurgen Klinsmann, by the way, this is amazing. Jurgen and Klinsmann and I did South by Southwest. We did the main stage. It was like standing room only. It was like 5,000 people.
Oh, dang.
I mean, like, this was your era. US soccer was like, that's when we thought it was unstoppable. This is where we are right now. Like, we're not going to get to talk about it unless there's questions, but the empty stadia, this is where we are right now. I can just say in that moment, 2010, 2014.
Yeah.
Oh, that's of which we will talk about. Like
more people here tonight than that game.
we got to reconnect to that hope and that joy of that period. But Jurgen always used to say, he's like, I want to get out of CONCACAF. He was fascinated by how Australia were weak. They were in Oceania. They'd like play New Zealand and like Tasmania and some like West. No disrespect to the Samoas and stuff, but he was like, we'll never get good by being there. And he ripped them. They were ripped out. I think 2013 they moved to the Asia Confederation. Hard. But they've lived, they've thrived, and Jurgen always said we should join CONMEBOL. My eyes would always bulge out. I'd be like, oh my God, can you imagine these boys playing it in La Paz, Bolivia? Like the Azteca feels high. La Paz is like black belt crap. But his theory was, and I'm interested in it for you, he was like, let's go down there, steel sharpens steel. Let's play Argentina. Let's play Brazil. Let's play Peru. Let's play Uruguay, Bolivia. Would we sink or swim?
I mean, I think iron sharpens iron, like you said. I think logistically it would be a nightmare, but I think let's find out. Let's do more Copa Americas down there. That's how you'll know if you'll sink or swim. Do Copa Americas that when you're able to have your best team. Because I only played in one Copa America during my time. And the only other time I had a chance to do it is when they had it in Argentina. But the only reason we didn't go down there because we played the Gold Cup before that. It was the Gold Cup that if you won it, then you were allowed to go to Confederations Cup. So if you wanted to have any type of break for the year, because after playing in Europe and then playing for your country in a tournament in the summer, the most you get off is 14 days to 18 days. That's the most days you would get off. And if I'd have went to Copa America on the end of that, I'd have got no days. So if there's a way that they could figure out to make the Copa America more of a priority and to do it in some of those South American countries, you'll see if we're able to sink and swim. But if you talk about what happened in last Copa America, you say, looks like we're going to damn sink because we're in a host country and we're the first one never to get out, not to get out of the group. So I believe that they would be able to swim, but we need to push them and put them in those type of situations to be uncomfortable.
I love that incremental move. Copa it up down there. And by the way, After the '94 World Cup, we went down to the Copa. It was one of the great tournaments this United States team have ever played. You know, we faced Argentina. We beat them. I mean, this is how we get better, how we test ourselves in foreign shores, in foreign climes. But tomorrow, we head to 80,000 capacity AT&T Stadium. Chuckles, I'm in danger. By the way, Clint said it earlier, the knockout rounds will be the moment of truth for this team. We have to believe, for this short-handed squad, results pending. I do want to say, we may play Costa Rica or Mexico in the quarterfinal. I ache for this team. The Saudi win was against NBA Finals Game 6. The game on Sunday night, I mean, they're playing in the NBA Finals Game 7. US soccer does not get any of the breaks, Clint. This is going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, anytime it seems, even when we were playing in the Confederations Cup, the NBA Final seems to go on during that same time. But look, you got to create your own energy. You got to rise to the occasion, and you got a chance to do something special. We talk about that golden ticket, playing in the World Cup. And if you're lucky, you play in one or two in your career. So if you let the opportunity go by of not getting to play in your own host country, then I think it's something you'll regret for the rest of your life.
I do want to talk about a moment when you played for our country against Haiti. You played them exactly once in your career. 2015 Gold Cup, Foxborough, Massachusetts. I have to say, Haiti played their heart out in this game. It was a goalless first half. 47th minute, ball fed to that generational phenom, Jossie Zardes, in the box, and this happened. Look at this. Jossie, this was a shot from Jossie.
Yeah, a little cut back.
Look at that face. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Like you said, the first half, we didn't play how we needed to play. Second half, it started to get a little bit more pressure on you if you're playing against a team that you should be beating. And then it's important to come out and set the tone. And great ball in from Jossie Zardes, and it pretty much was like taking a penalty. He put it on the penalty spot, just try to put it in the corner. And anytime.
What are you talking about? You opened up your body incredibly. That was an incredible. I almost want to run the tape again. You're saying that was as easy as taking a penalty. That was an incredible finish. Look at this. Here you go.
Hey, I mean.
Look at this. Look at this finish.
Nobody on me. Just had to step up.
I want to know, that finish, is it like instinctual? Or do you actually think what you're doing? I'm going to open my body now. I'm going to finish like Chris Richards.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is you do things over and over and over again. It kind of becomes second nature to you. So you kind of have an idea before you take the shot. You're looking for him to pass. You kind of get take a quick photo. But the most important thing, depending on what kind of ball it is, just you got to watch the ball to your foot and make sure you put it in the right area. And then that just comes over after time after time of practice. But anytime you can score for the States, game-winning goal, it's happy days.
Don't like to be your hype man. That was your second game-winning goal in 2 games, but I love you for that. And I want to take your questions in one moment. But talking about great American goals, I do want to end on a happier note, so that we all feel bloody great, because we should feel bloody great. The United States are about to play in your city tomorrow, and I want to raise the energy, raise the joy. And I really did. When I fly home to England at the weekend to film something, there's always like 100 Americans flying to watch Manchester City, watch Liverpool, watch Everton, watch Fulham, watch Arsenal. I mean, the plane is packed with Americans. And it's an agony for me at the moment to fly into Dallas. And it's as if, genuinely, it feels like this game is not happening. We need to turn this round with joy by remembering one of the happiest moments of every American fan's life. Because this Monday, June 23rd, is the 15-year anniversary of that Algeria goal. World Cup 2010. Really, I mean, an era-defining moment for football in this nation. For those too young to remember, the US are in a group of death. It started so well, a 1-1 win against England. We talked about that on Wednesday night. A certain Clint Dempsey scored an incredible goal that, didn't look that great on the field. But if you listen to Wednesday night's show, you realise that in moments of scuffed wonder, there's profound meaning and unbelievably human cathartic release. And I was incredibly moved to hear your telling. And I want to hear about this telling tonight because we then crapped the bed against Slovenia. It was a 2-2 loss, if you will. It meant you went into the game against Algeria, 10 men Algeria. Must win. You took 22 shots, 9 shots by you. Game into the 90th minute. We were out. This was a chance. We had to sell the game to America and we were failing. Seconds running out. I want to ask you, what was going through your mind as the seconds were running out before we get to the goal? Because you, in particular, in your words, you'd emptied the clip.
Yeah, for sure. I had 9 shots that game. When I think back on that game, it's bittersweet. I'm obviously happy that we won that game, but I'm pissed that Hercules passed me the ball. I scored. They said I was offsides. I wasn't. Then there was another chance I hit it off the post. The ball came back to me, and I damn shanked it. So I was like, what the hell? Is it going to be one of those days? And then I just remember thinking, man, we got to throw everything in the kitchen sink to try to get this win, right? And then they had a good chance. We caught them on the counter and just try to put myself in a good position to try to get a chance to get another shot on goal, and was happy to play a part in us getting that victory. Obviously, it deflected off the keeper, and Landon finished it up, and then we all celebrated. We're going into the next round and got a chance to go at Ghana again. So that's what it's all about, is when you need to come through in big moments. And our team was able to do that. And I think that's what, when I think about U.S. teams in the past, that's something that we had the ability to do, and I'm hoping to see that hopefully continue in the future.
I mean, that is the hallmark of this team as we know it. So many of us in this room, a team that does not give up, a team that always believes, a team that dreams and then delivers on those dreams when they feel like they're about to teeter into nightmares. I do think for a second it's worth looking at this goal, and then I'd love you, in your own words, to talk about what you thought in that moment. I mean, this was, the seconds were running out. We're going to pick it up where Algeria, 10-man Algeria, were on the attack, and it looked like the darkest fears were about to come true.
Yeah, right. Tim did a good job throwing it out. Landon right there with the ball. Maybe he could have passed it to me. Plays Josie. I try to go across near post. There it is. Keeper came out. I just remember going to celebrate, jumping in the huddle, and next thing I know, I'm on the top there, but I ended up falling in the bottom. Everybody's on top. I was like, oh, hell, this ain't where I want to be. But,
Can you talk about that when Josie played that ball across there?
Josie played the ball across. I thought the keeper did a great job of coming out and making it difficult for me. And then what I try to do is just hard and low, because that's all I had time to do. When I shot it, I kind of ran into the keeper and kind of took him out. And then, lucky enough, Landon was kind of making that run to finish it off. So maybe it wasn't.
What was the emotion in the moment? Because you're a competitor, you're a man.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
were you still like, damn?
Yeah,
or were you just
I probably was a little bit like that, if I'm being honest. But then it's just, you look up, got the ball in the back of the net, because I thought, damn, I missed another chance. And I didn't know Landon was getting to the ball. Once I saw him score, I'm like, hell yeah, we did the next round. But then the game's over. I'm excited. I think I'm going to go back in the locker room and have a beer with my teammates, and I got to go do drug testing. So everybody else having beer, I'm just sitting, trying to chug water, see if I can hurry up and do a test. So I didn't get to celebrate with the team in the locker room, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter. We were on to the next round.
Can I say, I mean, I want to break a couple of quick things down, because that dog pile was amazing. Clint Dempsey. We've broken it down here. This is hard to. Let me say.
Started on the top.
Yeah, Clint Dempsey's head, by the way, is on the top.
Then I fell down.
Clint Dempsey is raising his head in 2. Clint Dempsey is raising his head in 3. And then, you can't quite see this. This here is Jay Demerit's buttocks. if you watch this footage, and I encourage you to, Clint Dempsey, the seconds between Clint Dempsey getting his head out of there and Jay Demerit's buttocks slamming down like a guillotine is about .7. I would just tell you, we almost lost one of our greatest in this moment. And Jay Demerit's buttocks have killed before and they'll kill again.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. The trainers there, that's Pierre. He was our fitness guy. Ricardo Clark, shout out to him up there wearing the yellow penny. But yeah, man, I mean, I need to go back and watch these games because, to be honest with you, I haven't even looked at them after I played. Once I played, it's
Have you
it's
never
next
looked
game.
at this?
I never watched the games fully. Like, I'd like to go back and sit and watch the games that I had in the World Cup and kind of take it in and evaluate, like, how I played. But to be honest with you, in club soccer, I did more of it because it was week to week. You're able to look at certain plays and see if you made the right decision or not. But I just felt like with the national team, everything was happening so fast that you had a chance to look at certain plays, but you weren't able to sit back and watch the game fully, like maybe one day with my kids or something like that.
Clint, do you know what? Have you not really watched this goal very much? It's the call by Syrian Dark, "Go Go USA." It's incredible. You could not write a script like this. Honestly, I want that on my tombstone. I really, really do. It's one of the most beautiful moments of my life. And like you guys, millions of Americans, I was just watching. Do you know, you've not really watched this?
No, I mean, I've seen it, but it's just like I haven't really like watched the games. You know what I'm saying? Like sit down and watch it from start to finish and that type of thing. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like once it was passed, it was passed. It's kind of hard to look back at certain things that maybe didn't work out for you. You know what I mean? I think you got to be in the right space to go do that.
I got one quick question about that experience. Because that goal was it was epochful. It was defining for our generation. It was one of the great moments. And then right after that, I remember watching in the locker room. I remember actually watching with horror because Bill Clinton walked into the locker room. and he walked in with Reggie Bush for some reason, which I'll never understand. Clint was trying to like summon a piss in the drug testing room. But I watched this and I was like, oh my God, don't do it, guys. Like this is not a political statement. It was more like this was a group of guys who were like, I've spent a lot of time around them. They were just doing their thing. And in that moment, it was like having rock stars walk in and be like, you guys, we're all with you. Yeah. And you freeze in. It was almost like watching, in that moment, I watched like tightrope walkers look down over the Grand Canyon and be like, we're doing great. And I don't know how it was for you, but it was like, I realised you guys left the United States with almost no one outside of our soccer bubble caring about you. And as you listen to Clinton's jokes in that locker room, like, was it almost like you realised that the whole nation is watching us? Like, is this empowering or is this paralysing when these moments happen still for us?
I mean, I think it's only great anytime that there's attention that's brought to your game, right? That's all you want is to grow the game and leave it better than when you found it. And hopefully that's what we did. So I always kind of look at it from that lens that when you're doing your thing, good things happen, and then you just got to keep going with it. So don't get too high, don't get too low, kind of stay the course. And we still had a big game versus Ghana the next game and weren't able to get it done. But I remember getting fouled for a penalty. We tied the game. I wanted to take it. Landon took it. He was able to make it. We get into overtime, and that's where it didn't go good for us.
Can I just say, living these memories out with you all, and with you in particular who played them, is another reminder of what we're about to experience together in 2026. And these moments become etched in our lives together. They bond us. We share them. This is the power of this moment in this time. I also remember watching this and talking it through and watching you all nodding rapt. In those moments, I was watching, I was like, American dominance or American joy in the World Cup is like, the rise of it is inevitable. 2010, 2014, and it's a reminder that football, like life, is never straight line. We can never predict it, and it always needs to be never taken for granted. And we are going to take questions from this very handsome audience, which is the best part of the night. Your questions, Dallasites, come up now. Ask us whatever you want about football, about life, about hunting and fishing. We'll take them all. When you come up, stand up, tell us your name. and then tell us what your question is for the mighty Clint. Here's Evan with the microphone. Hello, gorgeous. Take it away.
This is kind of a two-part
Tell us your
question. Josh Brandon,
And where are you from?
Nashville.
Hold the microphone up a tiny bit.
Okay.
God
Is that better?
bless.
Yeah, good.
Well, so my first question is an American tourist, what is a must-see ground in England? And then, in your opinion, what was the best atmosphere that you played in when you were in the Premier League?
I'd say a must-see ground. Gotta say the Cottage, because that's where I played with Fulham. I'm a little bit biased. You know, it's on the Thames, and there's just something special about that place, in my opinion. In terms of away games that I enjoyed, the stadiums to play at, Anfield has to be up there, in my opinion. Just with how their fans support them, and how they all sing together and kind of will their team on to do well. So, and just the history that's there. So that's what stands out in my mind. Sorry, Raj.
I'm just thinking of all the nice things I've said about Texas over the past week.
Goodison Park, man.
Thank you.
It's so good to Americans over the years, Tim Howard and.
What Clint meant to say was the Hill Dickinson. The Hill Dickinson. I mean, what I'd say is, number one, to answer your question, which is the best Premier League ground I've ever played at? There's so many. I don't know how to get that question. But in terms of Americans going over, like many Americans go to London, and I would say go to Crystal Palace. It's to go to a game at Selhurst Park, tickets are attainable. You go and get some jerky chicken before the game. You go to the boozer. It's still proper football. And then you experience football there with the Homesdale Ultras in that ground. It is authentic and remarkable. You know, the ground appears, Selhurst Park, out of as ground should. Terraces all around, and then boom, you're in it. It's an incredible experience, and I love going there every chance I have. But you're right, man. Go to Liverpool. I don't mean the club. I mean the city. It's an amazing city. Savor every second there. By the way, wherever you go, you will make memories, and I wish it upon all of you. But this moment for Everton, with this new stadium, this new wonder, we're going to do it. I think we're going to take a group over this year in the year ahead. I hope we're going to take a year ahead. But when you go to Liverpool, you can go to Anfield. You can go to the Big Dick. And you can go to Wrexham also, which is like 40 minutes away, which is one of the greatest joys of my lifetime, watching them rise up. So between the south and the north, you really can't miss. But just savour. I will say the number of Americans going over to England to watch games is one of the joys of my life. And I hope wherever you go, whenever you go, you just make great memories, because ultimately that's what life is about, savouring all of that stuff. Next question, baby.
So Dan from San Diego, and I'm proud to say I grew up as a kid seeing the creation start of MLS, and the development over the decades. I also watched EPL as a kid, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's a difference in this, the style of play and how well the development and everything. My question is, can MLS players accelerate the development of the U.S. team on the international stage? And if so, how realistically soon do you see that happening?
Can MLS players accelerate? Is that what you're asking?
U.S. players that are in the MLS, development and system.
Oh, can MLS young players?
How can they improve the U.S. team to show on the international stage? That's what I'm asking.
I think it's perform well with your MLS side, and that gets you into the national team, and that's kind of the path that I followed, and I was able to play in World Cups, and the first World Cup I was able to play in was able to do well enough that got me a move to Fulham, and then that kind of accelerated me to get to Europe to play against the best, because the only way that you can get to Europe is through when I played was a work permit, a work visa. You needed to play a certain percentage of games within a 2 or 3 year period to be able to get that work permit, or you went to a tribunal where they had to vote on it. So the way to do that is to play for your national team, play in important games that hold weight, and then that allows you to get that visa to go to top leagues like England.
So I would answer your question by saying I think Mauricio Pochettino hopes that it can very, very much. I mean, what he's looking for right now, this moment of time, is crazy. He's looking for mentality. I mean, that's really what he wants. He's made that very, very clear. So, like MLS right now, and this is the squad with the largest amount of MLS players in like forever. But he's making it very clear, like skill to him is important, but I think mentality is more important.
That's what I wanted to hear.
I mean, that's ultimately what he's looking for.
Thank you.
I mean, if you look at Pochettino's career, he went to Southampton, and it's all about mindset. He would have turned to that squad, and he would have said, "You guys are young and raw, but stay with me. Give me everything. I will get you to big teams." He worked out to motivate, and they all did. Remember, everyone in Southampton moved to Arsenal pretty well, or Liverpool. I mean, it was like everybody en masse. He delivered on that promise, and then he went to Tottenham. And I've talked about this a lot with Clint. He got rid of a whole level of like the deadwood. Yunus Kabul for him, Adebayor. I've said that 100 times this pod. And he said to the young players, "Stay with me, fight, struggle, and I will lift you up." And they did. Harry Kane was a loanee, came in, boom, became Harry Kane. Eric Dyer, Ryan Mason. So like that's what he wants. He wants that mentality. And I think in this moment, this is where we are. Poch is finding out the answer to your question. I think he's pissed off with a lot of the big name players. I think he's like, you guys are complacent. You're not struggling. You're not fighting. I listen to Clint's stories. They're all about fight, struggle, proving yourselves. I think Poch is like, sod this. None of the guys are giving me this. So he's gone down to MLS, and we're living the answer to your question. This Gold Cup is the answer to your question. I mean, we'll find out. I can't answer the question. I hope to God that the question answers itself as we all want to. But I think Poch is kind of banking. He's doing his Tottenham playbook with our body of people. That I've got to say, the people who are not turning up for camp are like, or not able to, are like his Yunus Kabuls and Adebayors. I think he's praying that, yes, there's a drop in skill, a drop in decision making, but in international football, you know this, hunger, motivation, struggle, effort, like counts for more than in the club game, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, mentality is very important. I mean, if you're not willing to give everything you have, it doesn't matter how skillful that you are. And you need everybody together to try to do something great, right? And you need to create a culture that you feel like through training that you're fighting for spots for what that best 11 is going to be on the weekend, right? If you go into training and you already know what that lineup's going to be and there's not going to be any changes, I don't think you're going to have a good culture. So I think that's what we're seeing. I think we're seeing a more hungry culture and players feeling that through their play, they're going to get more opportunities to get in these games and have a chance to show themselves.
I mean, for us, to be candid, as Clint's saying, like, we want to be Brazil, we want to be Argentina, we want to be Spain. I'd rather us be Morocco. You know, I'd rather us be like Iceland in the 2016 Euro. We need that experience still. We need to take the field against big boys and slay them in competition play. And that's where I think Poch is right now. The honest truth is, the short answer is we don't know the answer to your question, but we all pray it's a positive one.
Yes, sir.
Next question.
Hi, Ryan from Coppell.
Ryan from where, man?
Coppell?
Where is that?
It's down the road.
Just down the road?
Yeah, it's literally down the street, like 10 minutes.
Can I say you are the most Arsenal-looking player that has never played for Arsenal? You do.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I say it as a compliment. You look like genuine.
He kind of looks like my older brother.
I know. You look like you won't know who you
look like Ryan.
I just met
That's
Ryan
my
Dempsey.
name.
I just
My
met
name is
Ryan
Ryan.
Dempsey.
Okay, cool.
You also could be Gwen Doozy's younger brother. You never even gone.
It could be worse.
You may be
It could be
playing.
worse.
By the way, if you've got your boots, I may get you a game tomorrow night at AT&T Stadium. But go on.
Let me know.
He's up for it.
I am. Guys, all I want to know is what's the best goal that y'all have seen live in the Premier League?
Yeah.
It can be best individual goal, best team goal, or most significant.
I mean, the most significant one for me was the goal versus Liverpool that kept us up from relegation. The goal these are goals that I didn't see live, but the in terms of spectacular, the bicycle kick by Rooney against Man City. In terms of significance, that brought about a new change to the Premier League, and the normal team you saw winning to changing was the Aguero goal, Man City, coming back against QPR. I mean, so those are things that stand out. I knew where I was during those moments, right? And it looks like it was never going to happen. You talk about like scripts being written. For them to come back and to win that game in the last minutes and surprise Man United it's got to be up there with one of the greatest deadline days or last days of the season.
I mean, that was also a moment where the Premier League really broke through in America, which was that was a moment when, like, non-football American human beings I know were like, Raj, football, huh? And I'm like, yeah. By the way, can I ask you, when you watch goals, like unbelievable goals, are they unbelievable to you? Or you're like, they're just goals? When you do you watch clips like we do? We're like, oh, but you're like, yeah, he just did that. Is it like, when you watch unbelievable goals, is it like saying to Batman, can you believe what Spider-Man just did?
When you see something good, you got to show love, right? And it's so difficult to create. So anytime you do see great goals, I think it's just so appreciated, and it's also a moment that if you're watching it with somebody, if they don't understand it, how you could even break it. Like for my kids, like when I watch games with my kids and see certain goals, it's nice to kind of break it down. Like, why do you think that's so good? And then helps them to kind of see the game from a different perspective, and maybe it's something that they can add to their game as they move forward. But yeah, man, to see someone create is a beautiful thing.
Do you watch goals and think, I couldn't have scored that?
Yeah, there's some goals that I've seen that I'm like, yeah, I don't know how. I mean, if it's something where you have to sprint past the whole team, my hamstrings wouldn't be able to deal with that, right? Seeing Thierry Henry just freaking go down the field, open his body up, bend it in to the far post.
Josie Zardes off the face.
Yeah, exactly. Or Chicharito off the face of Man United, right? But anytime you're able to be on, the chip versus Juve and do something special yourself, I mean, it's always a great feeling, and then something that you remember for the rest of your life. So
for me, it's a short answer. It's James Tarkowski, 98th minute. A lot of blues in here tonight. God bless all of you. By the way, to be candid, it's a reminder that goals are often more than goals. In the flow of the season, it was nothing. We didn't get relegated. Liverpool won the league. It meant nothing, but it meant everything. And anyone that was there that night will remember it. I will for the rest of my life for the deepest and profound reasons. I just said the best goals are the ones that mean the most to you in your mental state in the moment, and may we all have so many more. So tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you.
God bless.
Hi there. I'm Alexis. I'm actually from Pennsylvania. I'm a Dallas transplant. My question is, do you see Premier League games being played in America as a possibility?
I do. I definitely do. You look at NFL, and they're having games over in London, so I say, why not do the same to grow the game here? But I know that those players are not going to be excited about coming to those games. But I think the way that you can do that is you try to make it easy as possible for them, and I think you got to kind of keep it on the East Coast. So whether that's New York, New Jersey, Charlotte, Atlanta, something where it's like a 6-hour flight as opposed to flying all the way across to LA or something like that. But I definitely see it happen. I mean, everybody wants to kind of grow their own league and grow their brand, and the way to do that is to have meaningful games in other countries.
As a player, you would can you describe that? If you were playing in Fulham and you were like, hey, tomorrow you're going to play, Bournemouth in San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, would you rather sleep in your own house, wake up and go to the game like that's 15 minutes away, or jump on a 10-hour, 11-hour flight? I mean, and deal with the time difference and all that kind of stuff. I just think it's things that you have to be careful of because of the time difference and sleep and being dehydrated. It can lead to injuries. That's why I think people talk a lot of trash about MLS, but I think MLS is a difficult league because of the travel, because of the time difference, because of trying to get acclimated, playing on the turf, dealing with the summers that we have. But I see it happening, but you have to do the most that you can to try to make that as easy as possible for the players to keep the quality high and also injury prevention.
And I've got to say, I think this Club World Cup that's going on at the moment, where we're seeing like Boca Junior fans in Walmart, in wherever, and incredible scenes. Palmeiras fans taking over the beach at the local. Like, this is normalising. I think part of it is normalising elite football by local teams played in our nation. I think this is like the beginning of the next phase. Football loves money. It's driven by money. The money is here. The big brands are here. The big fan bases. The big, the big draws. A number of you have like jerseys from foreign teams. This is not a full-on Dallas, jersey-wearing crowd tonight, as it would not be anywhere in America. And the teams feel that. They hunger for that. They want that. They need that growth. These big teams are businesses. Businesses needs growth. America is growth. So I believe it's almost inevitable, and that's frightening because these teams are local and they're authentic, and the fans generational travel home and away. I think it's very, very dark. And I'll just say, as soon as that happens, we could do a whole show on it, to be candid. As soon as that happens, one game in America kills MLS almost overnight, because it won't just be one game. Then every league will play. Then every league. I mean, the tectonic plates are always shifting under the game of football, for good and for bad. And while we crave it and we want it, I think that ultimately I always think about that parable as a kid of the goose that laid the golden egg. And sometimes football needs to think about what it is and what makes it great, and not transform itself totally in every regard. So I will say no more. Maybe we will do a whole show about it. But it's a deep question, a profound question. Sometimes we want something so much we may actually destroy it with that want. And so I'll say I hope it doesn't, but I think it will. One last question, and then we'll wrap this beauty
Hey,
up.
y'all. Stephen from Farmers Branch. Thanks to the Londoner for putting this on. Thanks to y'all for making this happen. Thanks to everybody for coming out tonight. Great night for U.S. soccer. In 10 years, where are we at, realistically? Domestic league, national team, men's, women's, youth. Where do we go from here?
Well, is this an hour-long answer?
Yeah.
Is Farmers Branch a town?
I'm like 5 minutes that way.
I love Texas.
This is my
Can I
hometown
say
spot right here.
that there is a town called Farmers Branch that is just genuinely fills me with joy. That's my only answer to the question. But go on.
I mean, hopefully it's packed stadiums and not what we're seeing right now, right? I feel like since we didn't qualify for the World Cup in 2018, it was a huge step backwards, and you kind of slowly started the fan base kind of getting more excited and filling up stadiums again as we built towards the World Cup of 2022, and then the CONCACAF Nations League that we were winning.
Yep.
But then you have the failures of Copa America, CONCACAF Nations League, and now we're in Gold Cup, and you're seeing the fans not showing up for those games. You're also seeing not having the quality that you would want to see that would inspire you, the youth development being better. So I hope in that time frame that those things have changed. We figure out how to get better coaching, develop the youth to be better, and have more passionate fans because of the product that they're seeing on the field and doing great things.
Yeah.
I mean, Clint, you've nailed the answers to the better coaching is so massive and something we could do a whole night on. I mean, you can answer your question in so many ways. It's like we can't give it justice. Do you judge it by like MLS and the US men's national team? Do you judge it by the size of the audience here? Do you judge it by the fact how many Americans will own teams in 10 years' time? And I think the last two are going to be unstoppable. Like, I think there's going to be an enormous audience for the game globally in this nation. I think for good or for bad, and it's very complicated, there'll be so many. We talked about this the other night. This is the era of the American equity investor in football. But I think you're like, to pull this together, we're really talking about how will we play? How will we, the American US men's national team, play? And the MLS. Right. MLS I covered in my last answer. Like, that's my worry for MLS. It could be buried alive, eaten alive in its own backyard.
Yep.
But US men's national team, Clint's nailed it. Like 2010, if those of us in the room who lived that, we dreamt and we believed. 2014, that progress was happening in light years. And then we got kicked in the ass. Football like life. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, you believe, and then you are taught a lesson, and it's brutal. We've not recovered in many regards. And I think Clint hit the big issue for me. More coaches need to be like Jesse Marsh in America. Need to go abroad. It's hard. You don't become a good coach by coaching here. There's not a single nation in the world where a coach becomes a great coach by like saying, you know what, I'm just going to stay here. Pep Guardiola didn't. Dude has gone from like Spain to Germany to England. It's cross-pollination of ideas. And our coaches, for many reasons, and it is complicated, they stay here. Boom, 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 boom. We need our coaches to go out and be brave, and it's hard. It's hard. But like, we can't become a great nation without great coaches, and the coaching, everyone admits it internally, needs to uptick. And I'll just say, I hope for our team right now, it's a challenging moment. I think we can challenge is opportunity. I believe that deeply in life and in football. There's a gap between our team and the fan base right now, even the die-hard fan base. And I do believe, I hope in 10 years we've closed that we believe again, we dream again, we feel a deep connection, a profound connection with our national team. And what you said, that I dream of a day in 10 years where this team can routinely play in AT&T Stadium. And it's like 80,000 sold out, no problem. Yeah. We need to find that pathway. We can find that pathway with Sage Wonder. And to those days is all I will say. Godspeed.
Thanks, Sons.
Can I say this has been a joy? I want to end this. It's been a joy. You've been an amazing audience. It's been a delight to be here and everywhere. I am genuinely energized, and I'm a dark human being by your presence. So I want to, you've already kind of nailed this, but I want you to repeat it for me. Crystal ball it. Remind us, Clint, tomorrow we play Haiti. What will the score be?
3-1.
I want to say, Haiti are a game team, a ferocious clenched fist. I think it's going to be 2-0. I smell a Jack McGlynn goal. Baby steps, the only way is up, one step after another. So I want to end this night by saying we're in Texas. A joy to be with you. I've loved every second being with this human being. I want you to know these past 2 weeks, for me, it's been deeply nourishing, and I hope it has been for all of you. But let's finish. So the last night will be here in your home state for now, although I am coming back to go fishing in Nacogdoches. Which, by the way, will be both my first time fishing in Nacogdoches and also my first time fishing. I'm like so into it, man. But in Texas, let's finish with the definitive. We did the Mount Rushmore of great U.S. men's national team players in Austin.
I want to say one thing about the Mount Rushmore of U.S. soccer players. I should have put Beasley on that list. So,
yep. Who's it?
Let's show Beast some love.
By the way, if I was a really good pundit, I'd be like, "Who would you take off? Who would you take off?"
I'll take myself out.
Yeah. We can have 5. Jam them on. Give me the Mount Rushmore of iconic Texas rappers, Clint.
All right. I mean, I'm going to go on who inspired me. I'm going to say Scarface. I'm going to say Bun B and Pimp C, they go together. My favorite CD was Underground Kings. Gotta show love to Big Hawk. He came and did the Don't Tread. May he rest in peace. And last but not least, these are rappers from Texas. Trey the Truth.
Yes, the late great Big Hawk, Screwed Up Click, which sounds better when he said it. Sounds better when he said it than when I said it in my English accent. All of this sounds better, not in an English accent. In the words of Big X the Plug, big shout out to them boys, and I can forget about the Texans. By the way, I can do this for ages for you. But I do want to say, on the subject of hip-hop, Stu Holden once told a great story that I want to close tonight with, because it fills me with joy. Out of, one of the great football adages, it's Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's out of darkness cometh light. In 2010, we relived one of the great moments. Ghana, it did not go our way. The team were on the bus on the way home. It was savage. I mean, the players, they blinked, they lost it, they had it, they lost it. It was dark, it was silent. And Stu Holden tells the story. The bus is driving home. It's completely morose, like existential angst, complete agony. And then you, on the bus, according to Stu Holden, I don't know if it's true or not, just broke out into a freestyle trance. Tell us what you remember.
First of all, I'm never just breaking out that damn freestyle. Unless I was in my 1989 Ford Probe, because I didn't have a radio driving back and forth to Nacogdoches High School. It was just kind of one of those things. What I say about Stuart Holden, he was a great teammate. He always brought good banter, good jokes, lightened the mood.
He's a glue guy.
Yeah, he's a glue guy. You always need those type of people, especially when times are tough. And we lost against Ghana in overtime, and it's kind of one of those things. You only can be down for so long, right? It was kind of over with. So the boys started joking around a little bit, and next thing you know, he's the type of guy got you doing something that you didn't really think you were going to be doing, but you're like, F it, right? Like, hey, let's try to lift these boys up. Hey, we carried ourselves well. We got out of the group. We fought hard, and it's back to the drawing board. Let's see if we can make it better for the next one. So, shout out to Stu for being a great teammate, being the glue guy. And I think it's important in life you find the balance of not being too high, not being too low.
By the way, I'm going to read some of Stu Holden's words here. He said, Clint freestyled for over 30 minutes. He was crushing different guys for different things. Their personalities, things that happen on the trip, solo tangents. You just saw him come to life and lift the whole bus up. And by the end, by the way, this was after defeat, the end of a journey they'd worked so bloody hard for, these elite competitive footballers. This is why the story is so amazing. He said, by the end, everyone on the bus was jumping up and down and singing and dancing, just celebrating. It's amazing, that moment, that you have the ability to turn a darkness into a joy, Clint.
Man, you got to, man. You have to know that, look, you gave everything that you had, and we left it all out on the pitch, and at the end of the day, we weren't good enough. Ghana was the better team, and, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep fighting, and I think that's the spirit that team had. When I look back at some of the teams that I was a part of, 2010, 2014 World Cup, and we were able to get out of the groups and keep fighting and try to do something great. We weren't able to do what the 2002 team did when they got to the quarterfinals, but once you get into those knockout rounds, anything can happen, and we put ourselves in those situations. So that's all you can ask for.
And this is where we are. We're on the brink of the knockout rounds of this Gold Cup. I will say, Don't Tread by Clint Dempsey, I looked tonight,
hell.
has 2.3 million views on YouTube. I think I do, and I don't like to wish sequels upon America, but I'm like, what it do, Clint? Again, in an English accent, it all sounds ridiculous. But I want to bring this to a close and just say it's been a joy to be with you all. We do not take this for granted. And I want to end with a toast and raise my camarena to everyone in this room and everyone watching along live at home. And just thank you all in this magnificent Dallas-Arlington region for hosting us. I adore this place. The first ever 7-Eleven was founded here. Right. Barney and Friends was invented here by Cheryl Leach, who sat in Dallas traffic and just wandered into dinosaurs. German chocolate cake invented here. And Office Space. Office bloody space. Could you be prouder? And tomorrow at AT&T, we will turn that creative mind to football. USA Haiti, 7 p.m. East Coast time. At the final whistle, Clint and I will go live on YouTube. We'll take your questions at home. Come and be with us. Until then, let's savor every second of this Gold Cup voyage together. Dallas, let's breathe in your vastness. Let's dream big. We're going to come and raise a glass and drink with all of you here in the pub tonight. Oh my God, there's a Gold Cup at the back already being lifted up in this room. Big, big love to all of you. Thank you. Courage. Again, I want to thank Camarena for their support of the game we love. I want to thank the Londoner for hosting us. I want to thank all of you in the room. I want to thank all of you watching at home. for your support. Most of all, I want to thank Mr. Clint Dempsey. I want you to know, I work with a lot of human beings. I've learned more about life in a short time by working with this human being. Most importantly, I will just say this one. We got to get serious about having fun together. Huge love. Let's hear it for Clint Dempsey.
Good stuff, brother.
And to those of you watching at home, come and join us post-match at the final whistle. We'll break down every single moment from the US-Haiti game. May it end in glory. Clint and I are going to come and have a pint with you here at the Addison. Come and join us. Until then, huge love. This is Rod St. Terry.